President Trump loses a long battle over the Jeffrey Epstein files. Now he wants the Justice Department to investigate Democrats associated with Epstein, even as the president's name appears over and over again in newly released emails. This week starts right now.
This is a hoax put out by the Democrat, and a couple of few Republicans have gone along with it because they're weak and ineffective.
New details in the Jeffrey Epstein case as a House committee releases more than 20,000 pages of documents from Epstein's estate. President Trump is trying hard to fight the release of more Epstein files, but now he says he wants a new investigation.
What did he know with respect to Bill Clinton, with respect to the head of Harvard?
We'll speak exclusively with Republican Congressman Thomas Massie on his battle with Trump over the Epstein files and our roundtable on the political fallout. But we begin with our Mary Bruce and the controversy that engulfed the White House this week over the Jeffrey Epstein files.
This week, the release of thousands of documents from the estate of Jeffrey Epstein sparking renewed questions about the sex offender's relationship with the president.
Jeffrey Epstein and I had a very bad relationship for many years.
And now Trump is trying to shift the focus to Democrats. In an extraordinarily rare move, a president now publicly ordering his Attorney General, Pam Bondi, and the FBI to investigate Jeffrey Epstein, but only his relationship with prominent Democrats. Bondi wasting no time complying, appointing U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton, saying the department will pursue this with urgency and integrity. This despite the fact that earlier this year, Bondi herself closed the books on the Epstein case, insisting there's no there, saying we did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. Some Republicans are pushing back on the president's move.
I don't think it's appropriate for him to do it. I would ask him not to do that because all it does is taint our legal system.
Democrats labeling it a desperate attempt to change the subject.
Will Donald Trump be investigated as part of this? Or is there going to be one set of rules for Donald Trump's friends and supporters and another set for his critics?
Those emails part of some 20,000 documents released by the House Oversight Committee this week, many of which mention Trump. In a 2017 email, Epstein writing, "I have met some very bad people, none as bad as Trump, not one decent cell in his body. So yes, dangerous." Shortly after Trump launched his presidential campaign in 2015, Epstein told at least one reporter that he had dirt on Trump and was willing to share. In a 2018 text to an unidentified person, Epstein writing, "I am the one who is able to take him down." Trump has denied any wrongdoing, but he has refused to release the full FBI files on Epstein, and now a bipartisan group of lawmakers are trying to force him to. Trump clearly furious, going on a tirade against one of his closest allies, Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of 4 Republicans who joined Democrats to force a vote on releasing the Epstein files. The president calling her Marjorie Traitor Greene, labeling her a lightweight who betrayed the entire Republican Party, and announcing he's withdrawing his support and endorsement of her.
Something happened to her over the last period of a month or two where she changed, I think, politically.
Greene firing back, saying she's long supported the president, but I don't worship or serve Donald Trump. For This Week, Mary Bruce, ABC News, Washington.
And I'm joined now by Republican Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky, who led the effort to release the Epstein files. Congressman Massie, thank you for being here. President Trump fought long and hard to prevent your discharge petition from going through. You won that battle. Now, what happens? How many Republicans in the House follow your lead and defy the president on this?
I think we could have a deluge of Republicans. There could be 100 or more. I'm hoping to get a veto-proof majority on this legislation when it comes up for a vote. And, you know, the president's been saying this is a hoax. He's been saying that for months. Well, he's just now decided to investigate a hoax, if it's a hoax. And I have another concern about these investigations that he's announced. If they have ongoing investigations in certain areas, those documents can't be released. So this might be a big smokescreen, these investigations, to open a bunch of them as a last-ditch effort to prevent the release of the Epstein files.
I mean, it is extraordinary to hear him demand an investigation and only mention Democrats, only mention his political opponents. But you're saying he may not really even want any investigation. He wants to prevent the release. Why does he want to prevent this? What is he afraid of?
You know, I've never said that these files will implicate Donald Trump. And I really don't think that they will. I think he's trying to protect a bunch of rich and powerful friends, billionaires, donors to his campaign, friends in his social circles. And that's my operating theory on why he's trying so hard to keep these files closed.
What do you think is actually in these files? I mean, we've seen so much Epstein material, from the criminal cases, the stuff that just came out this week, you know, from the estate. What do you think is left?
Yeah, I don't have to guess at what's in the files. I've talked to the survivors through their lawyer, and we know there are at least 20 people in those files. There are politicians, billionaires, movie producers who are implicated criminally, who haven't been investigated. And it's up to the FBI, not the survivors and the DOJ, to release those names, or at least to investigate them. And when I see Donald Trump announce a bunch of investigations, I don't see him going after these rich elites that are implicated in these files, according to the survivors.
The president has gone after you in some deeply personal ways. I mean, attacking you over and over again, even attacking you for, regarding your wedding, your recent wedding, which, by the way, congratulations. What do you make of all that? And he's obviously supporting your primary opponents. I mean, what kind of retribution are you facing?
You know, my wife told me, she said, "I told you so. We should have invited Donald Trump. He's mad that he didn't get an invitation." So, we're taking it with a grain of salt. He's being a bully, or trying to be a bully. And they're trying to beat me here in Kentucky. But here's what's interesting. The people financing this campaign consist completely of 3 billionaires, and they're all in the Epstein class. In fact, one of them is named in Epstein's phone book. Not the secret files that the FBI is keeping, but in Epstein's phone book. So it's a small world. Dogs don't bark at parked cars, and we are winning. I'm not tired of winning yet, but we are winning. And not only the speaker, but the attorney general, the FBI director, and the president himself and the vice president, they're taking a big loss this week, because after months of fighting, I am winning this week with Ro Khanna. We're forcing this vote, and it's going to happen. I would remind my Republican colleagues who are deciding how to vote, Donald Trump can protect you in red districts right now by giving you an endorsement. But in 2030, he's not going to be the president, and you will have voted to protect pedophiles if you don't vote to release these files, and the president can't protect you then. This vote, the record of this vote, will last longer than Donald Trump's presidency.
Now, I've talked to Senate leadership who tell me that this is almost certainly not even going to be brought up for a vote in the Senate. What's your sense on that? I mean, I guess if there's an overwhelming vote, like you said, 100 Republicans join all the Democrats, the pressure will be immense. But do you have any sense the Senate's even going to vote on this?
Well, they don't have the procedural maneuver that Ro Khanna and I used in the House. They don't have that in the Senate. It's called a discharge petition. But the senators do have other ways to force votes, as amendments, for instance, on larger bills, in order to let bills move quicker through the chamber. So they could force the vote in spite of the leadership's efforts. I just hope John Thune will do the right thing. Look, our own speaker tried to push this bill by unanimous consent last week within 15 minutes of me getting the 218th vote, because he was trying to save people from a vote. If he's ready to pass it by unanimous consent, then the Senate leader should be as well. Just bring it up. But the pressure's going to be there if we get a big vote in the House.
All right, Congressman Thomas Massie, thank you for joining us this morning.